listen, she's a beautiful young lady. And there's a lot of beautiful young ladies in the WNBA. But when you do that, you can't come down the line and complain about being objectified later on. It's not going to work with people. Whether it's right or wrong, it's not going to work. And when you do stuff like that and you're drawing attention to yourself because of that, that can be problematic for you.
Imagine this, it's New Year's Eve, and Angel Reese posts a photo that's more about grabbing attention than basketball. The internet erupts, and not in a good way. Stephen A. Smith weighs in, and before you know it, Reese disappears from social media. Now, the big question, was it all worth it?
Here's the part that I like about the backlash. Clearly, it's something that a lot of people can't take. So if it's something that you can't take, maybe you shouldn't expose yourself to the backlash and provoking the backlash.
From leading the WNBA in rebounds to vanishing from Instagram, Angel Reese's story is a cautionary tale for athletes everywhere. But don't worry, we're not just here to recap the drama. Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back. He called out Reese for chasing attention and even compared her to the always professional Caitlin Clark. What he said about Reese's social media choices and their impact on her WNBA future might shock you. Ready? Let's dive in. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments.
Especially when the comparison is going to be drawn to Caitlin Clark, who isn't doing such things. That might not be fair. I'm not saying it is. And you certainly have the right to dress how you want and to do what you want and to live your life. But people have a right to have their opinions about what you put on display. And if they don't like it and they believe that it's not the right thing for you to be doing when you talk about building your brand, I don't know how you can argue that, Tori.
As the clock counted down to midnight, Angel Reese stepped out in a stunning dress, ready to welcome 2025. But her fans? Let's just say they weren't exactly impressed. She posted a video on Instagram, probably expecting to break the internet, in a good way. Instead, it completely backfired. The backlash was brutal, with comments that would make anyone wince. Even her most loyal fans were left asking, "What were you thinking?" That's when you know you've really messed up.
My daughters are fully aware. Daddy had better damn well not see an outfit like that on social media. Nah, I ain't judging Angel Reese. Live your life. I'm talking about my daughters.
Right.
I promise you. I better not see that. Hey, they could be in college in LA, in Boston, or anywhere in between. Daddy would drop the mic, hop in the car, on the plane, or wherever. That ain't gonna happen. You said, I'm not having it. That's me.
So, what had everyone so riled up? Picture Angel Reese in a belle-of-the-air dress, posing and strutting in a way that made people do a double take. This wasn't just any New Year's outfit, it was designed to grab attention, and it definitely did. As the backlash grew, Reese suddenly went silent on social media. Then, out of nowhere, her Instagram disappeared, just like that, gone.
She deleted her Instagram, and that's the most important part about all of this, because clearly she's uncomfortable with some of the backlash that she's getting because she deleted her Instagram.
Let's be real, this isn't just about a dress. It's about a young athlete who may have just damaged her own image. At 22, Angel Reese is old enough to know better, especially in the sports world. Now, the big question is, what's next for her? But before anyone can even process the fallout, Stephen A. Smith jumps in with his take, and trust me, you'll want to hear what he has to say about Reese's New Year's surprise.
Let's call it what it is. I am not trying to say that she should be criticized or she is wrong. What I'm saying is by pulling it down, clearly you felt there was something wrong with it.
You know it's serious when Stephen A. Smith gets involved, and let's just say he had plenty to say about Angel Reese's New Year's stunt. He didn't just comment, he went full-on, disappointed dad mode. And trust me, his reaction was something else. Let's break it down.
Yes, you are 22. Yes, you are young. And there's a lot of things that we didn't want people to know about when we were her age. Fair enough, especially me, okay? Because I'm 30 plus years removed from that age. I got that part. There was no social media then or whatever. But here's my point to you. She knows this social media. She is not dumb. She's quite a brilliant young lady. She's very smart, very accomplished. And on top of it all, she is in this age where she does know social media exists. And she has exploited it to her advantage. And so when you take that into consideration, that means you're mindful of the imagery and the perception that you're assisting in creating about yourself.
First off, Stephen A. Smith wasted no time calling out Reese's hypocrisy, faster than you can say double standard. He pointed out that you can't put yourself out there one way and then later complain about being objectified. Ouch. That one's gonna sting, but he didn't stop there. Smith wasn't about to let Reese off the hook that easily. And here's where it gets really interesting, he decided to do a little side-by-side comparison. His example of how to handle your brand the right way? None other than Caitlin Clark. Yeah, that Caitlin Clark, the one dominating on and off the court, all without a single controversy.
Here's what I have a problem with, Tori. Angel Reese, in doing the things that she has done, let's face reality. She's going to be attached to Caitlin Clark to some degree. If Angel Reese had never waved her hand in her face when LSU was beating Iowa for in the Final Four of the national championship, if that hadn't happened, Angel Reese's name might not be as big.
Smith didn't pull any punches when he said,
but what's not debatable is the fact that Caitlin Clark has handled her branding extremely well. Whereas with Angel Reese, sometimes you find yourself scratching your head and wondering what the hell she's doing. Like that photo right there.
Talk about a slam dunk of a comparison. While Caitlin Clark is out here building an empire, Reese is, well, you get the idea. But here's the real issue. Smith's criticism isn't just about one flashy photo. He's questioning Reese's priorities. Is she focused on being an athlete, or is she more interested in being an influencer? Can she juggle both? Right now, it's starting to look like a high-stakes game of identity tug-of-war, and Reese might be losing.
You have to be cognizant that no matter how you step out of your house, you are now Angel Reese. And you will always be picked apart, unfortunately. It comes with the crown. You're a queen. You're beautiful. So you just have to remember that if you aren't ready for the scrutiny, if you're not ready for the heat, then, you just got to be mindful that what comes with it. You have to be mindful with what comes with it.
Smith's guest didn't hold back either, adding even more fuel to the fire. Their take? Reese is desperate for attention, any attention. It's like she's playing a game of notice me while the rest of the sports world is locked in on actual competition. Not exactly a great look, but here's where it gets real. Smith warned that this could impact Reese's WNBA career. Are teams paying attention? You bet they are. And he hit the nail on the head when he said, when you do stuff like this and bring the spotlight on yourself, it can backfire.
It might have been a right or wrong decision depending on what she feels or what other people feel. I'm just saying that what's inescapable is that even though she's not Caitlin Clark, she's going to be reminded she's not Caitlin Clark with every good thing that Caitlin Clark does, because that was her number one nemesis, in a lot of people's eyes, number one.
Let's be real. Being a pro athlete isn't just about what you do on the court. It's also about how you carry yourself off it. And right now, Angel Reese's off-court antics are starting to overshadow her game. The big takeaway? According to Stephen A. Smith, Reese needs to figure out what she wants to be known for, her skills on the court or her Instagram presence. It's a tough decision, but one she has to make fast. In the world of pro sports, yesterday's rising star can turn into today's cautionary tale quicker than you can say, deleted account.
Number two, she was seen during various interviews and what have you, talking about threats, talking about insults, crying about how people were coming at her with such venom and hostility, particularly in her last year at LSU, before she ultimately graduated to the pros. She brought up all of these things, which means she was aware of it. And if you're aware of it, you have to understand that that's going to be part of the judgment that comes against you, fair or unfair. That's what I'm saying, Tori.
So, what's next for Angel Reese? Will she take Stephen A. Smith's advice and refocus on her game, or will she double down on chasing attention? Only time will tell. But one thing's certain, the ball is in her court now. Speaking of Smith's comparisons, let's take a closer look at the shining examples he mentioned. But before we dive in, if you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We appreciate you taking the time to watch. Now, let's get back to it.
Caitlin Clark. The reason I bring up Caitlin Clark is because they're attached at the hip with one another, which means they're ultimately going to be compared, Tori. And when you look at Caitlin Clark is balling. She's a rookie of the year. She was one of the finalists for the league MVP honors as a rookie, breaking all types of records. She should have been on Team USA. She didn't choose to play in an unrivaled league. Her brand building has been incredibly impressive.
While Angel Reese is caught up in drama, Caitlin Clark is out here living her best life. These two stars couldn't be more different. Clark's been busy, and for all the right reasons. She delivered a speech at a women's forum in Massachusetts, chatted with NFL legends Jason and Travis Kelce on their podcast, and racked up multiple Athlete of the Year awards. Oh, and let's not forget, she's been putting in work at the gym with new head coach Stephanie White. Clark isn't just talking about success, she's making it happen. Meanwhile, Reese is tangled up in social media controversy. The contrast is wild. One is locked in on basketball, the other? Not so much. Talk about different priorities.
Well, we have to remember one thing. She's not Caitlin Clark. And we can't ask her to be anyone else besides herself. And especially not right here. We're not going to do that. We want you to be you. We love seeing the great parts of your journey. But we also have to remember she's 22 years old.
The media is eating this up. It's like a sports movie playing out in real life. Caitlin Clark is getting praised for both her game and how she carries herself off the court. Reese? Well, that's a whole different story. Clark is building something real. She's got skill, charisma, and a smart approach to her career. While the buzz around Reese is all about controversy, Clark is out here inspiring the next generation. She's showing young girls that success and respect don't have to come with drama.
We understand that everybody's got their own taste, their own flavor, and certainly their own rights. But there are other people that's going to exercise their rights to be ultra critical about it. And then I'm not even talking about the outfit that Angel Reese has worn. I'm talking about the overall pressure of having to be compared as a brand to somebody who's conducting their branding with near perfection. That's what I'm saying. She's going to have to deal with that, Tori, whether she likes it or not.
In sports, how you handle fame matters, and Caitlin Clark is showing exactly how it's done. You don't need controversy to stay relevant. Talent, hard work, and a level head are enough. The difference between Clark and Reese is clear. Clark stays focused on basketball, while Reese keeps making headlines for all the wrong reasons. At the end of the day, it's about handling pressure, fame, and responsibility. Clark is proving that you can be a star without the drama, and that's the kind of win that lasts.
The bosses are always watching. Whether directly or indirectly, there's always eyes on you. Okay? And so you could be in a nice dress. You could be on a red carpet. You could be on the beach on vacation or whatever. What you post is what they're paying attention to because they're trying to measure what your intentions are based off of what they see.
Let's talk about the price of fame. Is all this attention-seeking really worth it for Angel Reese? Time to break it down. First up, money. Sure, flashy posts might rack up likes faster than a scoreboard in overtime, but do they actually pay the bills? Well, they did. Before this whole mess, Reese was thriving with endorsement deals from major brands like Reebok, Beats by Dre, and Amazon, bringing in an estimated $1.8 million. Not bad for a 22-year-old, right? But here's the problem, those big money partnerships. They're now hanging by a thread. Brands don't exactly love controversy, and Reese may have just fumbled the bag. Now, she's in damage control mode, trying to recover before it's too late.
I don't want Adidas, I don't want Nike turning her down because they don't see her as someone that's marketable. Because
neither do I.
You know, and that's the pain that I had for her in this. But I want her to know, if she's listening, we're excited to still see you. Bring back that beautiful Instagram page and just learn from it.
You know what's wild? Before Angel Reese went dark, she had 5 million followers on Instagram. That's a massive audience, gone in the blink of an eye, but the real concern isn't just social media. Let's talk long term. Will WNBA teams think twice when it's time to renew her contract? That's the million-dollar question. Just look at Kyrie Irving. His social media antics cost him big time in endorsements. Could Reese be heading down the same path? It's a risky game, and if she's not careful, it could bench her career faster than a coach's bad call.
Younger kids right now are also not able to see 40 years from now. You know, you post that photo, you're not thinking, what's this going to do to me 40 years from now? You know, think about that. You know, when you post this, what's going to happen to my sponsorship? And my last thing is, if you're a young member of society today and you have social media and you are big time, just remember that you need to have advisors around you. Paid advisors, as well as people who knew you before your fame.
That's great advice.
Because
that's great advice.